My dad was very creative. He liked to invent things, he liked to work on things mechanically. He worked on friends' cars, friends of friends' cars. He could listen to it and know what was wrong with it. And he owned several mechanic shops. He worked in several mechanic shops. He was so good at what he did. We would go to the movies together a lot. Every time he fell asleep, within minutes of the movie starting, and he'd just be snoring. But he was really good at embarrassing me in that way. He'd take me to concerts. If there was like an outdoor festival, he'd be there with me. He'd have like an umbrella to block the sun, but he'd forget he was holding an umbrella and knock someone in the head with it, and everyone would be like, "Who was that?" And so he was very good at embarrassing me. A few days after Thanksgiving, we got a call from my dad's friend letting us know that he had been picked up by ICE. I assumed they were just working out who he was, why he was here, and then they'd let him go. I didn't think that he would die there. December 2nd, I got a text from my coworker letting me know that an immigration officer had stopped by my place of work and had left a business card and wanted to speak with me. And he answered the phone and told me that my father had suffered cardiac arrest, that he was taken to a hospital, and then he was pronounced dead. My dad died on Saturday, and I got the call on Monday. I think it's very strange that ICE observes business hours to tell people that their loved ones are dead.
Over the years, we have received several reports of inhumane conditions within the GEO Detention Center in Aurora. The GEO Detention Center is a privately run facility with no real oversight, and it continues to cash in on cruelty at the expense of our neighbors and our communities. GEO Group acquired the Aurora contract in 1986. Back then, GEO Group only housed 150 detainees in this processing center. Today, that facility has a capacity of over 1,500.
To our family, my father was fine and walking one day, and then 2.5 weeks later, we get a phone call that my dad was dead, and we didn't know why, and we did not have any answers. I think about having to be the person to call my brother. I replay his reaction. I replay how my mom started crying on the phone when I told her. Dad died. My dad always had back problems. It wasn't until I was much older, in fact almost out of high school, that I even knew that my dad was using methadone. That was how he was managing his pain. I found out that GEO had taken my father off of methadone. I'm wondering if everyone that goes through GEO, if they're taken off of their medication. I can't imagine someone that has any other ailment or illness is taken off of their medication if they are picked up and detained.
People should not be held in a facility that has dangerously inadequate medical and mental health care. We know that at the GEO Detention Center, there have been at least 2 deaths, several quarantines, and many more cases of medical neglect, largely because the facility is woefully understaffed. There is only 1 doctor in the facility for the more than 1,400 individuals inside. The most effective way to improve conditions of confinement at immigration detention centers is to create a system of oversight and accountability. With so much of the deportation machinery shrouded from public view, elected representatives have a responsibility to stand up and to ensure that they can enter detention centers, review conditions of confinement, and share the results of their review publicly.
I've spent almost 2 years mourning the loss of my dad. The thing that gets me to get up in the morning is to remind myself there are still people in GEO. We need to make changes. Nothing's gonna bring my dad back. But I feel in my heart that we can do things. We can do something, many things, to keep this from ever happening again.
The ACLU of Colorado is calling on all Coloradans to contact their legislators to support policies that will create a system of oversight and accountability and stop these for-profit detention centers from cashing in on cruelty.